Travis Head and Steve Smith. These two individuals are a nightmare for India. Steve Smith has got an excellent record against India. Travis Head, we know, is India's ultimate headache/migraine. Now at the Gaba, these two came together and once again relived a nightmare that India had been desperately wanting to avoid for a long time. But it happened. Because today, Steve Smith and Travis Head shattered some records. One of the records was two 200 plus stands in tests versus India. Now in the past, Ricky Ponting and Michael Clarke used to have 3. Now it is two 200 plus stands, and both have come in the space of 1.5 years. 285 WTC final in June 2023 at the Oval. Australia was staring down the barrel, but then Steve Smith and Travis Head ensured that they got the partnership and batted India out of the contest totally. Now, Australia were 75 for 3, trying to negotiate whatever was there that the Indian bowlers were dishing out. But then it just could not materialize. Travis Head and Steve Smith put on a 241 run stand, and because of that, Australia are in a great position on day 2 at the Gaba test against India. Now, what were the other records that Steve Smith and Travis Head broke along the way? But there was also an Indian who joined in the records, because Steve Smith now has got 10 test runs against India. Only Joe Root has gotten 10 test runs against India. The only two individuals who have gotten double-digit test runs against India is Joe Root and Steve Smith, both at 10. But while Joe Root has an average of 58.6, Steve Smith has an average of 63. And Joe Root has 11 50s and 10 hundreds. Steve Smith has 5 50s and 10 hundreds. Meaning whenever he scores against India, he scores big. Now, 33 tons, he's gone past Steve Waugh. Steve Waugh was one of the best Aussie batters that were there with over 10,000 runs. Now, Steve Smith is getting there with 10,000 runs. So that is why 33 test tons. Now he's better than Steve Waugh. Only when you look at it, Sunil Gavaskar and the others stand ahead of him now. Steve Smith remarkably scored a test century after 17 months. This is his first test ton in 2024. Because the last time he scored a test ton, it was against England at Lord's, and Australia won that match. Steve Smith, when you look at his hundreds, they have always been high class, and because of that, this 100 will go a long way in dispelling the form rut that he's in. But yes, he's not still the Steve Smith who was prior to 2020-2021. Now, in 2020, he went without 100 for the first time. Now, luckily in 2024, he's avoided that. But with his 100 now, he now has 15 international tons across all formats. When you look at it against India, it is the most ever by any player. He goes past Ricky Ponting, who had 14. Ricky Ponting had 14 when you look at ODIs and tests. Steve Smith now has 10 in addition to 5 ODI hundreds that he's got against India as well. So Steve Smith has been India's nightmare when you look at it in his decade of brilliance. Travis Head, what do we say about him? Because now he's hit 3 tons in the most, you may say, traumatic situations for India. 163 at the Oval, which ensured that the World Test Championship would not be coming to India. 140 in the pink ball test when Australia was staring down the barrel. Now 152 equals his best score that is there in Gaba, 152 against England. Back-to-back BGT tons. That is his brilliance. Ton in Gaba after 3 ducks, this is what will hurt India. Heading into this, Travis Head had 3 ducks in the test matches at the Gaba. One was a duck against South Africa, a king pair versus the West Indies. Now he's gotten 100. India just don't have a plan against Travis Head, unfortunately. But there was only one individual who was waging a lone battle despite his speed being down. Today it improved marginally to 137, 138. But let us be honest about it, fatigue is catching up with Bumrah. But he still took a 5-wicket haul. That shows his brilliance. because he took a 5-wicket haul in Australia for the third time, second in this series. He had a 5-wicket haul in Perth, now he's gotten a 5-wicket haul at the Gabba. Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane. This is the way how he's gone about with his 5-wicket hauls in Australia. 12th 5-wicket haul overall. This is the indication of Jasprit Bumrah. 10 overseas. Now he's gotten 2 in India, 3rd in Australia. Only in South Africa he's gotten a lot more. So, looking at how the situation is, it was a day of records. Day 2, we are expecting less rain, it didn't rain at all. Now, day 3, the weather is okayish, but day 4 is bad. Day 5 also, it has worsened. Let's hope that the rain stays away, because both teams would want a definitive concrete result by the end of this test. Thank you so much folks for joining us for this video. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis.